I like to call myself a food entrepreneur rather than a restaurateur. The general traits or the general rule book that restaurateurs in the country follow, I don't abide by those rules. In a country obsessed with Chinese and Japanese, we are here to serve Burmese, which is very close to the Indian palate. Anybody can open 4, 5, 6 restaurants, but there was no data to say that Burma Burma will be able to scale up to where we are today in the last 3 years. Ankit, my co-founder at Burma Burma, both of us went to the same school. He was working on a concept of a Burmese cafe. We decided to embark on this journey together. 2014, we started our first restaurant.
I was looking at the menu and I was like, oh, yeah, vegetarian hai. And alcohol, he said no alcohol. I was like, oh wow.
We decided that we'll do vegetarian and no alcohol. We must have asked 50, 100 people from the restaurant industry. 100% said no, don't do it. So that was against popular belief that a casual dining restaurant with fabulous service and good food can be vegetarian, does not serve alcohol. Every rule book in the country, every restaurant, every consultant says you master one city. Our second one was in Gurgaon, 1200 kilometers away. Third one was Delhi. Fourth, Bangalore. Fifth, Noida. Sixth, Kolkata. Our first 6 were in 6 different cities, 6 different states, and 4 zones of the country. So which was unheard of in the country.
Chirag, welcome to Restrocast.
Thank you for having me.
I want to know all about the pure vegetarian, no alcohol, and the crazy side of Asian cuisine. But before that, I would love to know, where are you coming from? What's your background? And how did you land in restaurant industry?
So, born and brought up in Bombay. Very average student. There was nothing, no science, no extraordinary talent while growing up. Just very regular everywhere. And after grade 12, I decided to go to Australia for 3 years. That was my first interaction with world food, and that was outside the comfort zone, right? You're so protected in a Marwari family, for that matter, Indian family. So once you step out, I was 17 and a half when I went there. I actually had a guardian for 6 months because I was under 18. So spent about 3 years there.
You were a vegetarian in Australia.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Vegetarian.
We'll talk about it.
Yes. And after first 6 months, I got a job at Safeway supermarket there from the Woolworths company. So that was my interaction with world food and with all sorts of things, right? In India, how often do you end up going to the supermarket? Everything is taken care of.
Correct.
But over there, I was working in a supermarket. I was cooking. I was very passionate about food right from the beginning. We used to not cook today and eat for 4 days. Every day we used to cook fresh food. We were 4, 5 guys, and all of them passionate about food. So one person is cutting onions, one person is making the vegetable, one person making that depends on your skill, right? If you can't cook, you cut onions. If you can't cut onions, you wash the vessels. So that
and
was
did you ever cook before moving to Australia?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 week before my mom was after
that
me.
doesn't count. That's Australia.
So
that's
nothing. So that's life, right? Once you jump in the ocean, that's when you learn swimming. So that was my interaction with world food. I worked at a supermarket for about 2.5 years out of the 3 years I was there. And after I graduated, a week after my result, came back to India, joined my father's business of textile. That was my goal all along. I think ever since I was maybe 5, 7, 8 years ago, I just wanted to grow up and be like my father. That was my goal in life. It did not matter what he was doing. I just wanted to be like him and do everything he did. So family business was textiles. In a week, I still remember.
What is the business?
Manufacturing and trading of ladies and men's fabrics. So he started the company in about 1980. And while growing up, I was very excited about what he used to do. So it was somewhere subconsciously I was aware. He gave me the option, why don't you stay back in Australia, explore, do something. I was very clear. 11th of Feb 2008, my results came out. And 18th of Feb, I was in India. 19th of Feb, I was in office. So I remember the dates very clearly. I joined my father's business, right from 2008 to 2012, 13, it was all about textiles. For first 1.5 year, I just shadowed my father. Absolutely fixed work. If he was sitting in a meet, I did not understand anything. I was just sitting next to him. If he was having something in the evening, I was eating that. So that was my journey. And then about 2012, 13. So Ankit, my co-founder at Burma Burma, both of us went to the same school friends. We were always in touch. He was working on a concept of a Burmese cafe, since his mother happens to be from Burma. So about 2012, 13, we got together and we decided to embark on this journey together. And once we got together, we converted the cafe into a casual dining restaurant. And I had absolutely zero knowledge about how the restaurant industry
So
works.
it was a side gig while working
Absolute
with your
side gig. Absolute side gig. It had nothing to do with it. It's just one of those things when you're 25, 26, 24, 25. So you want to do something. Like there are so many things you want to do. So I went up to my father. I want to start a restaurant. And he just asked me once, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yes." That's about it. That was the permission. If you would have said no, I wouldn't have even argued. So he said yes without even understanding the details. Are you sure? I said yes, I'm sure. And he asked me how much investment. I said max to max 50 lakh rupees. We ended up spending 1 crore 10 lakh rupees after taking maximum in every section. So that's how our journey began. And 2014 we started our first restaurant in the bylands of Fort, which has become a design district now. But back in 2013, when we signed the place, that was the cheapest real estate in the city. That was the only place we could afford.
Is it the same? What do you mean by bylanes of Fort?
So
Fort में तो मुझे लगता नहीं कुछ भी कभी भी cheap होता होगा.
2012-13 में it was not
ये
aspiration.
वाला time है pantry था वहाँ पे.
Correct.
Is that the same time?
Yes. 2013. So there were no designers had not arrived there. There were very few of them. Now it's become a design district. We started from Bandra, Andheri, Powai, Juhu, Lower Parel. We saw all across Bombay. We could not afford anywhere at that time. It was the only place we could afford is Fort. So that's how our journey began.
That's insane. I never knew that about Fort. I always thought that Fort was because मुझे याद है काला घोड़ा cafe, and then I saw pantry open up.
Sure.
अब तो मेरे को बहुत साल हो गए हुए, but the white exteriors, etc. and those lanes.
Yeah, exactly there. So that's how our journey began. That was. So I like to call myself a food entrepreneur rather than a restaurateur, because the general traits or the general rule book that restaurateurs in the country follow, I don't abide by those rules, or I don't follow those rules. But what I like, I'm passionate about food. I'm passionate about scale, about making money, and doing things that hasn't been achieved or done before. These are the things I would like to identify myself with.
Give me a little bit more on that you're not playing by the rules that other restaurant owners in the country are playing.
So I'll tell you multiple instances when we were in the conceptualizing phase, and Ankit and me got together, and we decided that it'll be we'll do vegetarian and no alcohol. So we must have asked 50, 100 people from the restaurant industry, or with people who understand food. All of them said no. 100% said no, don't do it. Some people recommended add Pan-Asian, add wine, add beer, as many people, as many thoughts. So against popular recommendation, we opened a Burmese restaurant, just happened to be vegetarian. We don't like to be typecast as a pure vegetarian restaurant. We are a Burmese restaurant that happens to be vegetarian. And we don't serve alcohol, but we have a fantastic beverage program. So that was against the popular belief that a casual dining restaurant with fabulous service and good food can be vegetarian and does not serve alcohol. So we coined the category of aspirational vegetarian. So that is one instance. The second instance is every rule book in the country, every restaurant, every consultant says you master one city. Open 5, 7, 8 restaurants, have a central kitchen, have a central warehouse, master it, master your SOPs, then go to another city. Our second one was in Gurgaon, 1200 kilometers away. Third one was Delhi. Fourth, Bangalore. Fifth, Noida. Sixth, Kolkata. So we did, our first 6 were in 6 different cities, 6 different states, and 4 zones of the country. So which was unheard of in the country. Right? One menu, multiple cities, unlimited challenges, 6 different GSTs. So again, we cracked that. We did the difficult part of going to multiple cities, multiple zones first. So these are just one of the few examples that, to be very honest, rules are meant to be broken and new rules are meant to be written. Everybody has a different story. Sometimes I feel not having a restaurant background is such an asset. You can think freely rather than having preconceived notion. This is how it's supposed to be. This is how it has always been done, and there is data to support this.
But you know what? On the last point,
Yeah.
most of the restaurateurs,
Yeah.
in fact, that's the, I don't know, it's almost borderline curse of the restaurant industry.
Sure.
That 90% plus restaurateurs are actually not from the restaurant background, right? So while I hear you when you say that it's an asset given you could think freely, but when 90% of the people are not from the restaurant industry, why do you think and how these rules are getting propagated?
So what happens is even, most of them have some food experience, maybe hospitality colleges, or they have a partner with some sort of, or either they get consultants on board. They say this is how it's supposed to be. And then when you talk to peers, you talk to other restaurateurs and you see what other people are doing, how the menu is being formulated. If you look at the Japanese restaurants in the city of Mumbai, all the Japanese restaurants, 80% of the menu is the same. Yeah. There is only a 10-20% variation. How is that a coincidence? If you go to Japan, there is so much depth in the Japanese cuisine. It cannot be possible that every restaurant in Bombay woke up to the same menu. So there is this pattern that is being followed. Like in a vegetarian, these are the 6 types of sushis. I can go to a Japanese restaurant, close my eyes and order. I don't even have to look at the menu. And 80-90% they'll have those dishes.
Yeah, although Delhi, somebody was telling me this, which is funny, but true, that Delhi has these waves of interiors. So in a certain 2-3 year period, all the restaurants opened in that period, they look the same. Same chairs, same lighting, same decor, same consultants. And somebody was telling me कि आजकल गोवा वाले भी सेम ही दिख रहे हैं क्योंकि सबसे ज्यादा दिल्ली वालों ने. So yeah, I hear you. I understand. Yeah.
So coming back to that point, just referring to that point, another thing that we broke the common norm of cookie cutter model and standardizing interiors. We've got 21 restaurants in 9 cities today, and no 2 restaurants look alike. We've got 21 concepts that we have currently. Very consciously, we've taken a decision to not repeat interiors. So the menu is the same, service is the same, but interiors, every restaurant is different. Every restaurant has authentic Burmese theme that we incorporate. Every restaurant has a separate theme, but we will never repeat interiors.
That's crazy. I mean, is it because every space, sizing, etc. is different? Or are you, saying that I'm going to localize it to the city given India is quite diverse and dense? Or you're just saying that 9 different Burmese themes?
So I'll tell you what. Firstly, every space is different. The size is different. Our smallest one is 1250. Our largest one is 4500. And the vision is, in a city, if there are 8, 10, 12 Burma Burmas, we do not want to be typecasted as the same interiors like a QSR or a casual dining from the West. If every outlet is different, you have more reasons to visit the place. There is some distinct. Even though menu is the same, but different characteristics, different aspects to attract the consumer. And cost of architect is the same, cost of wood is the same, cost of chair is the same. It is just that it is easier to repeat interiors. It's slightly more difficult to keep challenging the design team and keep coming up with new concepts. Cost remains more or less the same. There could be 5-10% delta here and there, but it makes more. So every time you open a new restaurant in a year, last year we opened 4 in Mumbai. If it is exactly the same, it is not exciting for the city. But every time we come up with a new concept, every time there is some feature which is different from what exists, it gives something for everybody to talk about. The consumers get excited and they always have a preference. Okay, let's travel that 5 kilometers extra and go to that because I like this restaurant has this version has a PDR, or I like the bar at this place, or I like the approach to this. So it's very subjective. So our idea is this year we're going to add about 5-6 more. So all of them will be different.
Very, very cool. How do you, Chirag, we'll go into the Burma Burma side.
Sure.
How do you define Burma Burma today?
Aspirational vegetarian cuisine, and Burma is something. It's very simple, right? It is flavorful food, fabulous beverage program, fantastic desserts, and right from a 4-year-old to an 84-year-old can eat at Burma. We are not typecasted as a vegetarian only restaurant. We are there in Hyderabad.
What
Gurgaon.
is aspirational vegetarian?
So, for example, to give you example, there are a lot of. I'm a vegetarian myself. If you go to cult brands in Bombay or Delhi, there are 20, 30-year-old. I do not want to name other brands, but those are the places you go for nostalgic value. You don't go there and talk about it, right? And you go there for the food, not for the service or the interiors or the backstory.
Nostalgia. Yeah.
So what Burma is, it is aspirational. You want to plan and go there. You want to take your family, your friends. You want to go on dates. You want to take your kids, and you want to talk about it. And now we have transitioned to an era of holistic experiences. Maybe 10, 15 years ago, we loved our pan-Asian meals, clubbed with a biryani at the end or an Indian starter at the beginning. Now we've transitioned to single-cuisine meals, right? We want. That's where Burma steps in, right? Everything that we serve at the restaurant is 100% authentic Burmese. We've not taken the liberty of adding Chinese or Thai or any other cuisine for that matter. So as consumer expectations have evolved. That's where we step in. In a country obsessed with Chinese and Japanese, we are here to serve Burmese, which is very close to the Indian palate. We have parathas. Our number one soup is a samosa soup. And our raw mango salad is our best salad, irrespective of the time of the year. It is our number one salad. So it happens to be very close to the Indian palate. So a combination of accessible locations, a wide menu appealing to wider audiences, and just the relatability of flavors has enabled us to be present in 9 cities. Have one nation, one price, one menu with absolutely no regional tweaks. So I think what we are trying to do is something very different from any other brand that exists in the casual dining space.
Do you have competition in Burmese?
We would like some more competition. There are a few regional players here and there, but we happen to be the largest chain of Burmese restaurants
But is
in the world.
Is Burmese really picking up? I mean, as in, do you see competition coming up?
Very few actually. I like competition. Now, if you look at our portfolio, when we are signing places, we love cluster, like Cyber Hub. There are like 50, 75 restaurants, 50 to 75 restaurants. It's good for business.
No, my question is around that only because, when specifically you're talking about a single cuisine.
Yeah.
And not a cuisine which is usual, staple, or, is not a part of top 10 cuisines.
Sure.
When somebody thinks about having a meal. All it does is it makes your marketing either extremely difficult or extremely costly, whichever way you swing, or both. कैसे हुआ ये? मतलब, and on top of it, you said that you did not, conquer one city. For example, if I was giving you that advice, I will also give you the same advice. Not because industry works like that. I will give you same advice as an entrepreneur as well. कि यार एक ब्रांड को पॉपुलराइज करने में इतना मेहनत लगती है और उसके ऊपर हम बर्मीज cuisine की बात कर रहे हैं, which is not the usual cuisine that comes to an Indian's mind while thinking about eating out. of course, we should just make a lot of waves, because then, popularity will start feeding into all other stores. And which is, by the way, and this question, sorry for a longer one, it's layered, because I can see how difficult it is for Mexican cuisine, which is probably closest to Indian palate and ingredients. उनके लिए कितना difficult है to make their space in the market, चाहे वो Taco Bell हो, चाहे वो California Burrito हो, चाहे और भी Mexican food chain आ रही हैं, और उनके लिए difficulty, what I see is not their product is great. Actually, everybody is doing a good product. Problem is that people don't have a recall. People are not thinking कि आज मेरे को taco खाना है या आज burrito खाना है. That's changing, but it's very very slow. आप एक बॉम्बे और फिर एक दिल्ली कैसे किया, और इन दोनों की सेल्स कैसे पिकअप हुई? Can you break down that marketing, branding, and exercise to get people in?
Sure. So when we started in Bombay, in 9th of May 2014, it was an instant hit. We did not anticipate it. In one of the buy lanes, there was no crazy marketing at that time. It was an instant hit in Bombay. And we used to take reservations for the first 2 years. So for the first year and a half, there was a 3-week waiting to get a table. Small restaurant, 56 covers and about 12 tables. It gets filled very quickly.
Was it because Fort, high-paying audience, also experimental audience?
You can say that. It is multiple reasons, right? If somebody stumbles upon the restaurant and if they like it, they would. We were saying that if a person coming to the restaurant, they visited at least 4 times over the next 2 months with different groups. Because when you come across something that does not exist,
correct,
and you like it, you want to come with all your different groups.
But अगर अंधेरी में मिल जाती जगह तो ये होता अंधेरी में?
So I have a thesis: brands are made in Bombay, in Khar, Santa Cruz, or Fort. So either you have to be in Khar, Santa Cruz, or South Bombay, Fort.
Fair.
So whatever happens for the best. In hindsight, may or may not, Andheri may or may not have had that same impact. But we are happy we started in Fort. So response was phenomenal instantly. And what happens is when the response is overwhelming, the first instinct is to let's start hunting for the second one. So again, we were looking all across Bombay. We took about a year to streamline processes, understand what we are doing, make finer tweaks and all. And then we were started hunting for a second one. So at that time, the DLF team got in touch with us that, why don't you come to Gurgaon? So,
that was an inbound.
Yes, it was an inbound. We were not looking in Delhi. We were not looking in Gurgaon. Maybe Delhi, we, just for argument's sake, okay, the next big city is Delhi. Gurgaon, no way. But I have this thing.
And Gurgaon was not that hot at that time when you guys.
No, Cyber was coming up at that
correct,
time. This
correct.
is back in 2015. We opened in 2016, so we were talking.
Gurgaon today is
totally different.
And Gurgaon of then was.
Absolutely. So I have this policy is that anybody related to business, ask me for a meeting, which I don't understand at that time, and yet I take the meeting to update myself and understand that, if there is possibility. So Cyber was purely that. Both Ankit and me, we flew down to Gurgaon and just to see the place. And when we sort of saw Cyber for the first time, it's a fabulous product, offices with high paying, very high, the intention to spend, and a cluster of restaurants. So if you want to eat, and if a place has 50 restaurants, it is an easy choice. And if you visit that place 10-12 times a year, so you would have covered all the cuisines, right? You'll have Indian. If there are like 10 Indian restaurants, you'll have one Indian. Then you want something Asian. So that's where we came in. So the thesis is the consumer wants differentiated experiences every time. So what at Burma Burma we're giving a holistic cuisine with differentiated interiors, with very flavorful food, all packaged with service that you only used to get at 5 stars. Now it's fairly common across casual dining, but when we started off, it was not as common. So all bundled together. We rolled it out at Burma Burma. So we opened our second one in Gurgaon. So I still remember the first week, there were people walking in, sitting down, looking at the menu, having water, realizing there is no alcohol, no non-veg, then walking out. So it was a slow start. but we're doing okay. But it took about 6-8 months for it to settle and create a market. After that, there has been no looking back. So this was our journey in Gurgaon. That was a difficult part of establishing a market in North India. Nobody knew of Burma Burma.
No, I can tell you that, I was sharing off camera. I was that customer who discovered Burma Burma at Cyber Hub through somebody's recommendation.
Sure.
Went there, was mind blown by the entire experience. I still remember, service was great. Your servers were interacting. It was a very, very well done, calm vibe. Good interiors, great food, and I only discovered that it's pure vegetarian and non-alcohol after reaching. Not that I was looking for both.
Sure.
So I did not discover it while the meal was on. I discovered it at the fag end of it as just more like a,
Afterthought.
Yeah, no, not even thought. Just ऐसे ही. I was looking at the menu and I was like, oh, ये vegetarian है. And alcohol, he said no alcohol. I was like, oh wow. So मेरा पहला reaction as a customer was कि ये लोग कैसे चलेंगे और वो भी दिल्ली में कौन कर रहा है ये गलती. As you said, rules are quite opposite. But I can totally see, because I think after that I might have sent 10 friends and groups over years saying ki please go there, you'll have a fabulous time, great meal. And I was doing this as a customer, as I had no other relationship.
Sure. Thank you for that. So that's the thing. A lot of people were skeptical that we are opening in Gurgaon, right? People love their meat. But we always say, if the food is the hero, people will come. It might take longer, but people will come.
So Chirag, when did it become main gig? Second restaurant, or
when did it become
side
my
gig
main gig?
Center stage ka aaya?
So when we raised money, when it was bootstrapped, when you have limited money.
But you bootstrapped for very long, no?
Yeah, 9 years.
So technically for 9 years it was a side gig?
Yes.
Tell me more.
So we opened 6 in 9 years. So that is fairly
from 2014 to
till 2021. We raised our first round in 2022.
Okay. So
November of 22.
Eighth year.
Yeah, about 9 years. 9 years to be about 8 years. Yeah.
Okay.
So November of 22. So in 2018, went out to raise money first. Trying to understand, met a few people, made a deck, did the whole thing, just thought at that time, I was new. I did not, trying to understand when people were showing interest and talking was, people say that they are interested, but their reality was different. So went out, met a few people, failed terribly, went back home, dropped the idea of raising money. Then we went, 2019, before COVID hit, we opened another couple of restaurants, and then COVID kept us busy. So 2021, the market bounced back. The numbers were much better, 30, 40, 50% better than what used to exist pre-COVID. So that is when, I realized that now we can raise money again. So, went back, changed everything, changed the banker. And at that time also, I think this is a very subconscious effort. When I looked around, everybody who had raised money for food, I looked around and we are not a regular brand. We are not a QSR. We are not, something that people love. We are a Burmese restaurant. So for anybody to raise money for us has to think out of the box. So that's when I remember, post-COVID, people are hooked onto the screen, Instagram was picking up. So I used to follow a gentleman called Sarthak Ahuja. That time he had about 10,000 followers.
CA Sarthak Ahuja.
That's right. So in early of 2022, I sent him a message. He had 10,000 followers at that time. I like what you do. Will you help me raise money? On DM, that's it. He reverted because 10,000 followers, so DM must be much lighter than what it is today. So,
okay. You're saying he khali tha, but anyway.
I mean, back in 2022, it was a different thing. He instantly reverted that Burma Burma is one of my favorite restaurants. Sure, We got on a call, spoke for 2 hours, then we met, and then I'm like, please help me raise money. So we made a business plan, and then we went out to raise money. I still remember he told us that, he of course highlighted that it is tough. These are the multiples. I'm like, sure, let's do it. We wanted to raise 25 for a first round, and we ended up raising 17.
Crores.
17 crores, yeah. Food industry is not about millions, about crores. Yes, we raised 17, and then from there 6 to 11 we opened about 5 with the first round of money, and then we started the building infrastructure, enhancing our backends and increasing our teams. Our corporate team was non-existent before because we were doing 6, right?
Sure.
So we want to keep costs under control.
Sure.
That's when we started building. Then I realized that Sarthak and me, we enjoy a great working relationship. He's still with us today. He helps us in multiple ways. So that's what I said. I realized one thing, that the whole process of raising money takes about 6 to 8 months. So I realized, once I've stepped on the treadmill, I have to raise money before I need it. So about 6, 8 months, 9 months later, I said, Sarthak, let's raise another round, because the market is fabulous, response is good, and to make money we need a lot of money. So second round we raised in 23. Again we wanted to raise 25. We ended up raising 17. So the goal is to raise, that was second time our goal was to raise 25. We raised 17. But the positive was, a lot of investors from the first round doubled down on their investment. So that's when
that's a big one.
Yes. So
rarely happens.
That gives us confidence that what we are doing is working, and we've been very big on compliance right from the beginning. So in terms of sharing our MIS, and even when we were bootstrapped, we used to make balance sheets monthly. We don't have any receivables, so it is fairly possible to do monthly balance sheets of individual restaurants. That time corporate expenses were less, so our final balance sheet was easy to make. So we continued that even post raising money. So we were very transparent in sharing everything we were doing, our monthly MISs, and whatever we were doing, whatever we wanted to do, we enjoyed great relationship with our investors. Then we raised a third round in a very short period of time. I could see multiple opportunities coming our way. We did a portfolio deal with Brookfield. We did four restaurants in 4 different cities, first of its kind in the country. With a fund like Brookfield, to do a 4 outlet deal has never happened before in the country. So that's when.
And when you say 4 outlet deal, means they were giving you 4
spaces, yes. So as part of the deal, we did AeroCity, most iconic location.
Of course.
AeroCity. Then we did Worldmark 65 in Gurgaon, Sector 65. Third one being EcoWorld in Bangalore, in Bilandur. Fourth one being Powai. So Powai and AeroCity individually, there was a queue of about 50 restaurateurs each taking it. But there was absolutely zero queue in taking all 4 together. That's how we managed to crack that deal in a very short period of time. All 4 deal together. And
by the way, I should tell you a secret.
Yeah.
May not be a secret to you, but
yeah.
As I'm telling you from the grapevine, I think Burma Burma is Brookfield's favorite. I'll tell you why. So a restaurateur in Worldmark 65 was really crying.
Okay.
They're doing okay.
Yeah.
But turns out, there's some issue with that location, parking or something. So this restaurateur was ranting here. Worldmark 65 was doing so well, and then there is this parking issue, and then there's a Gurgaon issue, and then there are new things happening all around. So the traffic is dropped, and that is kind of is a little bad because we can't do much about it. And so I said, I generally said, okay, is it under Bharti? He said, no, Brookfield. I said, okay, so speak to them. He said, उनका क्या है? उनको जब भी बोलो हमारा खराब चल रहा है, वो जवाब देते हैं बर्मा बर्मा तो ठीक चल रहा है. So whatever you are doing and whatever they did, I think looks like you both are doing well for each other.
It's a fabulous asset, but it was a low-hanging fruit. Fabulous asset.
You're talking about Worldmark 65 when they were still
Yeah, about a
early,
year
right?
back.
It
Yeah,
was
about
not.
a year
It was
back.
not a.
Yeah, year back. So coming back to this, so again, in a very short period of 5 months, we wanted to raise 25. We raised 25. So third time lucky, we raised as much as we wanted to raise. And another interesting experience I'll share that third round, I spoke to my lead investor. Would you be interested? He's like, definitely put me down for 6 crores. I'm like, done. I went around the country talking to people. A lot of people are interested, but everybody is haggling for valuation. Do you have a lead? So nobody was committing. So what I realized one day, India is a land of followers, not leaders. I went back to my lead investor. It's like, whatever you want to put, you give me a term sheet with all the details. He gave me a term sheet. I closed the entire round within 30 days because I called up everybody, whoever I was talking to. There is a valuation in place. There is a lead investor in place. It is closing. Are you interested?
Somebody else has to benchmark.
Absolutely. Like I
Everything
told you, India is a land of followers, very few leaders around. So generally the lead investor is supposed to be 40%, 30-40%. This is what all the experts tell me. Our lead investor had put in 6 crores. With that valuation, I managed to raise 25 crores. And by the time I closed on, there was another requirement of 5-10 crores. So I closed around at 25 crores.
Very cool. How much money have you raised so far?
98 crores.
98 crores.
Yes.
Brilliant.
We've done a fourth round after that as well. Very recently, about 6 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So completing that last bit about how we wanted to raise 25, we raised 17. We wanted to raise 25, we raised 17. Third round, we wanted to raise 25, we raised 25. Fourth round, we wanted to raise 30 crores. We ended up raising 38 crores and we left at least 38 crores on the table. So now the demand was close to 80 crores, but we took only 38 crores. So in a matter of 1,000 days, from why should we invest? It is not what we want, what it should be. To please give me allocation. So in a matter of 1,000 days, the entire messaging, the entire mindset, the entire dynamics changed.
That's fabulous. I think I'll go back to the first round. And I would rather take you back to 2018 when you failed in fundraising the first time around. Fundraising and this question has two parts. Fundraising is a brutal, it's probably the biggest ego leveler for any entrepreneur in the world, right? It doesn't matter what business you are in. You can be doing tech and AI today, but you can be the flavor of the season. But it just humbles you like nobody else's business. And second, which I also have seen from close quarters, fundraising in the restaurant space is brutal, right? Tech में मैं फिर भी, it's never easy, but मैं फिर भी मान सकता हूँ कि आपने किसी को एक ड्रीम दिखाया और उसने आपके ड्रीम में बाइंग कर लिया. रेस्टोरेंट इंडस्ट्री तो ब्रूटल है और मैं बहुत अच्छे रेस्टोरेंट एंटरप्रेन्योर्स को जानता हूँ who continuously struggle even after sound business, profitable, queues outside their restaurants and so on, right? What was your experience the first time around as well as the second time? Can you also tell me few things that you learned from both the experiences, failure and then success? What works, what doesn't work? Third round, I understand now you're successful. Before that.
So 2018, that time we had about 4 or 5 restaurants. So I think the biggest difference was confidence. So what happens is when you meet 10 people, everybody is saying different things, right? Why don't you do QSR? You're CapEx heavy. How many can you open? So it's a very, like you rightly put, it's a very humbling experience and it makes you question so many things.
I'm sure there was a period of self-doubt.
100%.
What did that sound like in your head?
So in 2018, there was a lot of self-doubt, underconfidence, and then maybe we'll never be able to raise money. We'll always be bootstrapped. We were profitable, We've always been a profit-conscious company, So profit was not a problem. But scale, there is how many can you open on your own? So we're like, that's fine. It's okay. If it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. We went back to the drawing board, started adding categories and life moved on. I'm very quick. If it's not meant to be, accept the small loss and start building for the war. The bigger picture. And come 2022, I realized that, this, if you have to do it correctly, then you have to do things that we've not done before. And we were in 4 zones of the country building the story. So this is, I would say, then again, we had multiple rejections, right? Like I told you, we want to raise 25, we raised 17 and 11 crores from
कितने लोगों को pitch किया?
Close to 100.
Close to 100.
Yes.
And ये कौन थे? Individual angels, funds, private equities?
Everybody that invested in the food space, that is the first.
तो बहुत कम लोग हैं इंडिया में.
काफी सारे थे. Maybe that was the biggest category. Then there were family offices, and then there were other smaller funds that invest in the consumer space that could be interested in food.
You mean VCs?
Yes, all types. So that's when we were lucky to find Neil Behl. He had an Asian capital. After our second meeting on Zoom, we got a term sheet instantly. He was that quick, and I'm like, we've got a term sheet that I want to meet in person. Somebody who's given us a term sheet. At least I want to know who I'm taking money from, and I want you to meet as well. So that's when we met, and that's when we realized that he's investing in the brand for his reasons. Later, he told us that his entire team said, "Don't invest." He was the only one in his entire team said, "I want to invest in Burma Burma," and the rest is history. So finding the right investor is more important than raising the amount of money you need. Like I told you, first 2 rounds, we raised less than what we needed, but we found the right investor who could back us up in every round.
And you talked about raising 25 and then 25 and then 30. Why raising in smaller chunks? Why not? Why wasn't your last round 100 crore ask when you now have kind of cracked the code of fundraising?
Sure.
At least it's not something that you worry about.
Sure.
Why not 100?
So I'll tell you, from 2022, pre-2022, before we raised the first round, our corporate office was 400 square feet. So after the first round, we moved into a 2,800 square feet office. We started building teams. We did not have a head of HR and multiple positions we did not have. So creating that structure takes time. So with every raise, we were opening more restaurants, building a corporate team, and understanding scale ourselves. So it was a gradual process. Like I told you, first 2 rounds, we wanted to raise 25. So there wasn't a question of raising 100 where we could not even gather 25.
Sure.
Only this round we say, if you wanted to raise 100 crore, we could have. But we do not need. We are a profitable company, and we have a business plan in our for which we needed 30, but we ended up taking 30. A few extra crores. So we are always open to newer opportunities. So it is a gradual process. Since, like I told you, we did not have, it took us about 8 years, 9 years to open 6. It took about 7 years to open 6. So we've been used to a certain pace. To change that pace, link it to a newer frequency, building those teams, building scale, operating multi-city, all these things take time. And we are very big on service. If you look, our average Zomato ratings is 4.7, 4.8 across our portfolio. So those things we did not want to tinker with. So we took our time. So that is the reason we did different rounds, because every time you go to raise, it is much easier to raise a bigger round than do multiple rounds. The effort is the same. The time is the same. The due diligence is the same.
Let's go back to breaking the rules.
Yeah.
You talked about one restaurant in each city.
Sure.
At when you were 5, 6, 1 or 2 restaurants. That means I'm assuming that central kitchen or a base kitchen was not the model. I'm assuming.
Yes.
What's the model?
So we don't have a central kitchen. We have central warehouses where we stock few things. Everything is made freshly at the restaurant.
Even today?
Even today.
At 21 restaurants?
Absolutely. We don't believe in pre-frying, pre-cooking, pre-cut vegetables or... so Asian food is all about fresh preparation, right? The consumer is picking Burma over 100 other options. So our goal is to give the best and most fresh experience possible. Even our desserts are made in-house at every restaurant.
But doesn't that hit, why do people think about a base kitchen? My viewers, even if you're not pre-frying, etc., but let's say gravies, sauces, intermediate stuff. Consistency is the number one reason where I feel a base kitchen is a good idea.
Sure.
Prepping at each store, how do you take care of consistency then?
So,
And also the economics, right? So just cover
our
both.
food cost is one of the lowest in the country. We are at 18%. So food,
What?
yes. So our food cost is one of the lowest, and we've got
Wow.
yes. So there is no incentive.
I've never heard that. I think the best recently I heard somebody telling me was 23%, to which I jumped with an equal exclamation. I was like, 23 is crazy good.
Yeah, we are at 18%.
Okay.
So the incentive to minimize cost by having a central kitchen
Strong.
is not relevant to us. And how do we control consistency? We have a very strong team. Our SOPs are strong, and our cost control team is strong as well. So even if our chefs are there to do their role, make sure every dish that comes out of the kitchen is top quality, how it's supposed to be, and then at the same time, we also have a very strong backend team that makes sure that ingredients are not overused or underused. They are right at optimum. So the one layer is the chefs taking care of what should go in a dish, but at the same time, in a day, if 100 housewares are sold, the kind of ingredients that should go in it, if ingredients are used for maybe 110 or 1.5, that's when we flag it on a daily basis, and that's how we attain optimum efficiency.
But I'll stress on this a little more.
Sure.
Then what's your feedback loop of that consistency? Mere restaurant mein, X versus Y, and now we have 21, right?
Yeah.
So across 21, किसमें खाउसवे ठीक बन रही है और किसमें उतनी अच्छी नहीं बन रही है? What's that feedback mechanism? What's the
So
loop?
every city has a central team that looks after the consistency that's been dished out, and we also look at customer reviews, customer feedback, and after a point of, so every time you open a new restaurant, the entire team is not new. Certain amount of people are from the existing restaurants that sort of move to the new restaurant to carry forward the culture and the systems and processes. So we have cracked a system where our regional teams, our outlet chefs and managers make sure the consistency is maintained, and the last aspect being customer reviews. Customers, when they like the experience, they may or may not share, but if they don't like it, they are more likely to be vocal about it. So we are very
but what do you do with that mediocre? So I generally care for that above mediocre experience.
Sure.
That's crazy bad, because you never voice it out.
sure.
मैं गया और मैंने खाया, उतना अच्छा नहीं था और खराब भी नहीं था, और मीडियम से नीचे नहीं था, मीडियम से जस्ट ऊपर था. तो अब मैं बेनिफिट ऑफ डाउट दूंगा और आगे निकल जाऊंगा कि यार कोई बात नहीं, आज का दिन अच्छा नहीं होगा. And that, I think, is it's quite a whole, especially in the restaurant space, where
Sure.
Repeat experience is always going to be the function of the last.
Sure.
Unless it's nostalgic.
Sure.
कि मैं 20 साल से खा रहा हूँ कहीं पे, तो 2 खून माफ हो सकते हैं. पर अगर मैं 2 साल से खा रहा हूँ तो
नहीं मिलता है. So
you bruise me and I'm out.
So my co-founder Ankit, he lives at the restaurant. So I would want to give that credit to him to make sure what the system cannot catch, what the reviews cannot capture, is identified and addressed by Ankit. He's the concept of Burma Burma was his idea. It was his baby. So we make sure, like I said, it's a 3-layer model, right? For the responsibility of the chef, of our systems and processes, reviews, and founders' intervention. So as a system, this is working.
How much time Ankit will be spending on ground, given your expanse of multiple cities?
He's an out-and-out operations guy. So he travels across and he spends most of the time at the restaurant. I spend most of the time at the corporate office. So that's how we have complementing skills, and we've divided our roles.
So you're the money man.
I like to believe that. Yeah.
I mean, now that you're validated, huh?
Yes. Yes.
Chirag, this is phenomenal. I will go a little towards your side of life.
Sure.
I asked you when did this become the main gig
Yeah.
instead of the side, and you said when you started raising funds.
Yeah.
So I assume there's been 4-5 years of full time only this, or are you still
So 3 years.
3 years?
3 years. Most of my energy is here. I do support my family business in whatever capacity I do, but this is my main gig.
And given that you came from this traditional business background,
Sure.
your father running that business,
Yeah.
deciding to go for external fundraise, giving out your equity,
Yeah.
generally is not an idea which family businesses consider that easily.
Sure.
Ambition, of course, is one good reason, but what is the framework like? If you're and I would want you to talk about it, from a restaurateur's perspective, because number one, very few restaurants in the country, by the way, today can say that we are comfortably profitable. Market dynamics are such that most of them are not really, decently profitable. Two, if they are profitable, they generally are very, content with जो चल रहा है, बढ़िया चल रहा है, ज़्यादा भागने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. What was that point where, and what was the thesis? What was the trigger where you said, no, I'm going to go away from my traditional roots of building a generational business and keeping it to myself? It can still be generational, but
Sure.
but I'll bring, outsiders in, and then going full time in this.
Sure.
How does that?
So I'll tell you what. During my undergrad in Australia, there was a subject that I studied, new venture development. So this was the whole subject was about building a concept, starting a business, selling it in 5 years. At that time, I was maybe 19. I thought this is absurd. Who sells a business? I mean, I've seen my father run business for decades. That time I did not understand, but I studied, understood. When I joined the business, when I was slightly more experienced, that's when I realized, so there are limitless possibilities with a new age business. After the first restaurant was funded by the family.
Hmm.
After that, I realized, if the business needed more money, there are two ways. Ask my family, get money on interest. So the thing is, in the Marwari circuit, you say, when you can get as much money as you want on interest, because the person giving the money gives money not on the fundamentals of the business, on the name of the family.
Correct.
Which is what I did not want. So I wanted people giving money purely on fundamentals of the business, which taking on interest or loan did not, the fundamental did not align. Unlike like a trading business, there is a cap on how much revenue you can grow. The more restaurants you open, the revenue increases. So, that's when I realized that, after 6-7 years of being bootstrapped, that, we should raise external funds, and then that will help us expedite the growth. Something that it will take us 3-5 years, we could achieve that in 12 to 18 months. So that was the main reason. And when I started raising money, coming back to my original point, I did not pitch to any known people, because known people do not look at fundamentals. I wanted people to understand the trade, understand what we're trying to build, and only invest if they thought this is a good deal. So that was my mindset right from the beginning. There are, like you said, equity is expensive, venture debt is available, a lot of things. But I've realized, raising money from the right investors gives you that special superpower. Like, our lead investor in all 4 rounds have been the same. So, if you get a bundle of good opportunities, all you have to go is talk to your investors and they back you. And,
so
and
finding right people to
absolutely
be along in the journey.
And the burden of interest. Imagine if I take 50 crores on, by venture debt. So that can be back-breaking in times of COVID or sudden downturn, what we are trying to build. Now it becomes, in hindsight, say, oh, everybody knew. But when we, from 6 to 22, anybody can open 4, 5, 6 restaurants. But there was no data to say that, Burma Burma will be able to scale up to where we are today in the last 3 years. So there is some sort of risk that is involved.
Chirag, what has changed in you? What has changed in Chirag of 2014 to Chirag of 2026 personally?
So that time in 2014, there was limitless possibilities, right? Anything was possible. But there was this fear of failure, that what if this does not work out? What if that does not work out? In 2026, I'm profit conscious, but money in the short run is irrelevant. I'm more a big picture guy. To be very honest, this year voluntarily I've said that I don't want to increase our salaries, because I'm not interested in the short-term profitability, but we want to build something that will create value for our investors and for ourselves, and we want to make lives easy for other casual dining restaurants that are at 1, 2, 3, 4, who can look at Burma Burma as a roadmap. Because when we were growing, there was no roadmap for us. So I am more. I still remember, maybe say 5, 7, 8 years ago, if I was writing a 25 lakh check, that time I used to feel that it is a big amount, right? I'm writing a 25 lakh check. Now monthly I write close to 15 crore checks, and it is not. There is absolutely zero feeling, right? It's only now a matter of more zeros. So now every restaurant opening used to excite me in 2014, 16, 18, 19. Now there is more than excitement. It is like you're building a puzzle, assuming you're building a puzzle of 100 pieces and every piece signifies a restaurant. So you are one step closer to completing the puzzle. One step closer to your goal. That's a different matter that every 6 months I keep pushing the goalpost. But so it is more moving towards a bigger goal. And earlier small things, like making a balance sheet, how much you're earning, all these things was exciting. Now what will excite me is, when I look around, multi-city was one thing. Now a couple of 2, 3 exciting things that is on the target is, why is it in a country like India, when I look at the stock exchange, why are there no fabulous stories to talk about? All the Pizza Huts, the KFCs, the McDonald's, these are not Indian brands, right? These are all QSRs. Conceptualized in some other country that was imported into a country, those are listed. In a country of over 140 crores, and food is one need which we need to indulge 3 times a day. Why isn't any other, at least there should be at least 50 restaurant brands listed on the stock exchange? What is the reason? Why did we have to wait till 2023 or 24 for South Indian Bene Dosa to be the most talked about with Rameshwar Cafe? We've been eating idli dosa for 30 years. What has changed? So the answer that I think is execution. It is the quality of founders. Rameshwar Cafe is one of my favorite brands. Right, from food to what the founder wants to build. It's a fabulous story.
I'll do a +1 to that.
Yeah, fabulous story. I mean, there is, in my opinion, in the food category, in the F&B space, he's the best founder. He's very few people that I look up to in the food industry, but what the vision, the scale that he's operating is fabulous.
No, I'm glad to hear that, because I met him and spent a few hours with him in Coimbatore a few months back. And I came out with the same feeling that somebody whose heart and mind fully aligned and actually doing their business with a lot of gratitude, but rolling their sleeves up and as invested in their customers as much in their employees, and there are ethos and there is a soul in the business.
In the short run, I feel that when you are scared of failure, it becomes difficult to take decisions. When failure becomes irrelevant, when money in the short run becomes irrelevant, that's when you can take better calls. So this after now I've been working for close to 18, 19 years. So that's what I said. You cannot buy experience. So now I feel that, when I was 20, 25, I used to challenge that. Now that I'm 38, I've realized that, there are certain things that you have to go through, learn with life. And that's when you mentally you get elevated to the next level. And I feel the next 5 years are going to be super exciting.
Crazy. And I think that is one of the most beautiful answers of um, what has changed. I hear it.
Thank you.
And that's amazing. Why are restaurants in India, and this will tie into your question on this, listed companies and lack of stories which are inspiring. Restaurants in India are bleeding from all possible orifices today. I rarely see good unit economics. Rarely. And it is just becoming rarer and rarer. I don't know why. Or maybe I know. I don't know. What is your view of what is happening in the frothy Indian market in the restaurant space, where buy one get one, deep discounting and whatnot, right, is the norm?
So I'll tell you a few things. I'll correlate with Burma Burma. At Burma Burma, we don't give any discounts in dine-in. Very nominal discounted on deliveries, because there is not enough room. It is P&L awareness. We pay all our vendors in 45 days. There are certain vendors we pay within 30 days. All our
Wow.
vendors, 100% vendors.
Wow.
So that gives us an additional leverage of bringing down our cost. So our food cost at 18%, full credit cannot be given to operational efficiency, is buying efficiency as well.
Sure.
So
Very important.
I feel when I talk to all the vendors, they are not given the due credit. If you look at without our vendors, what are we going to make food out of? So I am in touch with all our vendors directly. And all the big vendors, I'm in direct touch. And we always, no matter what, we pay our vendors within 45 days. And we always say that you give us an additional 5%, take the money right away. So that, like a traditional trading business, that is the mindset that we apply. So sometimes I feel we buy cheaper than some 5 stars, some bigger chains. And to give you an example, in March, there is still a lot of uncertainty, with the dollar going up, and a lot of our produce, a lot of our ingredients are imported from different countries. We buy from local vendors. So that P&L awareness, being in touch with our vendors, and at the same time, our cost control team has 32 people. So if you are investing that of money, so we are saving more than we are investing. So having that particular department, being close to our purchase team, and having P&L discussions very openly amongst the top team, has given that, because it's not about, we don't do events, we don't do discounts, and there is very little, the brand Burma Burma comes before founders. So it is not about glamour. We put in a lot of time in bettering our unit economics. Like if you ask me, Chirag, what is the EBITDA of the month of April? We are sitting on 7th of May. I can tell you for a fact that we are at 13.5% for the month of April. So that is the awareness that we keep in the business. Otherwise, what we are working for the government, we are working for our employees, we are working for our landlords. If you don't make profit, then what is the point? So that awareness is extremely important.
So back to the same point, then what's going wrong? So one is that you're saying restaurants are lacking awareness.
Sure.
What else?
So low defensibility. What happens is, like you said, in a city, if there is a certain trend, you will see 50 places with the similar interior, similar food coming up and then disappearing very quickly. I feel every brand owner should work on some defensibility. There should be at least 30-40% of the dishes that you don't get anywhere, or you don't get it the way that they serve. If you look around Delhi, it is a crowded Asian space, but Yum Yum Cha is a brand that stands out.
Sure.
In Mumbai, like Rameshwar cafes in Mumbai, there are multiple Asian places. The places that stand out are Izumi, Fu. So Why is that the case? Because they have good defensibility. What they are serving in that space, you don't get either some of the dishes 20-30% you don't get anywhere, or even if you get the other dishes, they do it in a better way. So that is very important. If you serve the same cafe food or the similar dishes, so the consumer has so many options, right? So the consumer does not, for example, it's like pizza. If you're craving pizza from a particular joint which is 40 kilometers away, you're not going to travel there, but you can indulge in the same craving from a pizza place next to you. So you have to do something over and above for to attract that consumer. So high defensibility is what we have to work on. I feel events and event driven restaurant, the shelf life is very less.
What do you mean even doing?
Nightclubs and resto bars or
You mean entertainment and
yes.
okay.
I feel restaurants have a longer shelf life, but you have to focus on defensibility. You have to focus on service.
How much? I'm just wondering, and my bet is that you're not very high on delivery.
About 12%.
Beautiful. Do you think that delivery is killing the restaurants?
If the delivery commission is above 15%, it is better to not deliver.
That's 100% of the India.
Yeah. So
I mean, I know some of the largest brands
yeah.
pay 19%.
Yeah.
Like the brands who you will believe that no, this brand has the negotiating power to probably bring it below 10. I know that they're paying 18, 19. So if 15 is your benchmark, then technically everybody's in it.
It's very easy to break. And like you said, average food cost is 23%. If you're saying...
I will still peg it at 28.
Assuming 25.
Okay.
Let's take 25.
Okay.
25% food cost. Delivery, safe to say, 18%. 18%.
With GST, given
20%.
not input, 20%.
20%. So 25 plus 20, 45. Packaging cost 5%.
Easy.
50%. Then there is rent, then there is electricity, then there is staff cost. And to drive the delivery business, you need to invest money. Organic traffic is less because the thing is, the Zomato and Swiggy, they will guide you that, if you want to be listed, if you want algorithm in your favor, you have to invest money. So that cost can go up from 6 to 10% of the delivery business. So if you look at it, if you're paying 20%, you add your other expenses, labor cost, which I'm assuming is anywhere between 15 to 20%. We are higher at 20%, but assuming most brands are at 15%. So 50 plus 65 plus utilities plus ancillary
rent
plus
rent. High street.
Rent on an average is anywhere between 12 to 15%.
Easy.
So if you look at it, if you're going through this entire process for single digit and in months like February with 3 days less, in months like September and April, which are bad months, you will not end up making any money. So who are you working for? So like I told you, P&L awareness is very important. The moment you accept this is how it's done, that is when you give in. Like I can safe to tell you, if I tell you my exact number, I don't know, the Zomato Swiggy guys will tell me we are way below 15%.
Indian consumer already siding with discounts.
Sure.
And then all the online apps,
Sure.
which not limited to Swiggy and Zomato.
Yeah.
But I will say, from e-commerce to everything that a consumer is experiencing is so discount promoting that at times I feel कि लोग product or service नहीं खरीदते, लोग discount ही खरीद रहे हैं. Discount is the product.
Sure.
Everything else is actually a byproduct. And that leads to a lot of restaurants struggling, even though they don't want to give discounts. I see restaurants day in, day out who really don't want to discount, but they succumb to not only peer pressure, but real pressure of algorithm as well.
So again, low defensibility. And the thing about discounting is, and spending too much on ads is, once you start, you cannot stop.
What's your marketing cost?
So our marketing cost is close to 4%, between 4.5%. That includes brand level marketing and marketing on Zomato and Swiggy all combined.
तो अगर आपके जो 14% EBITDA है, इसमें से 8% तो आपने मार्केटिंग में बचा लिया। नहीं, ये तो सीधा निकल जाता। 12 से कम तो मुझे लगता नहीं कि कोई करता है। अगर आप 4 कर रहे हैं तो 12 से कम तो मैंने कभी सुना नहीं किसी को करते हुए, which of course is a function of, as you're saying, defensibility and also brand recall and customer loyalty.
And as per industry standards, for Asian players, the delivery business is anywhere between 15 to 20%. So there is still a low hanging fruit which we are trying to correct. Since it's such a new category, Burma is listed, it gets lost in Pan-Asian. Whether you will believe it or
Sure.
not, I'll tell you an interesting fact. The most ordered dish in the Pan-Asian category is Hakka noodle. Still Hakka noodle.
Yeah.
So
not surprised.
So Burma gets lost in that category. So we are still creating a category in the delivery business. We are at 11-12%, which we intend to increase to 15 to 18% in the near future.
But how are you building that category? I think that question got lost. I asked you that. How do you as a single player?
Yeah.
How do you create Burmese as a category? I personally feel that no matter how well you do, of course, unless you cross 500 stores, it is not a one person's job.
Sure,
Number
absolutely.
one, right? How do you even look at it?
So I'll tell you. So what by design, what did we do is first few 5-6 was difficult, right? Creating a market everywhere. Now, how are we further building the category is by taking up most premium locations in the country. What happens is once you have a very strong brand, people will travel. But if you build Burma in high footfall areas, that's when people come across that place. Okay, let's try. Even till today, most of the ordering is suggestive selling. Unless once you visit 2-3 times, you know what you want. It is still suggestive selling.
Sure.
So with premium location, the consumer comes in. There is suggestive selling, and if the consumer likes it, they will come back. So how are we building the brand? Is of course 50% of our marketing budgets goes in brand building. So we are spreading the awareness. We have multiple categories to play with, and at the same time, our distribution. We are there in all premium locations. So visibility.
But then, what's your rent percentage? And I'm sorry, I'm cutting you because I want to tie your marketing, your customer acquisition cost, your rent, and your unit economics on a single. I mean, it doesn't. If you're at the most premium locations, and all the locations that I know of yours are premium already.
Yes.
So what's your percentage of rent that is tolerable?
So last 10 deals that we've done, last 12 deals, 10 of them have been at 11.5%. Pan India average from the previous deal also we had is including GST about 13 to 14%.
13 to 14% is that
rental. Yeah.
Do you attribute a part of your rent to your branding and marketing cost? Is that how you do your own internal?
Not really. So I feel over a certain revenue, if a place can do a certain revenue, the rent is irrelevant.
Sure.
Like Powai, we are paying close to 900 rupees. Certain places we are paying 200, 300. So what happens over a certain threshold, the revenue kicks in. The revenue share kicks in.
900 rupees.
Yes, it is one of the most expensive real estate in the country, but fabulous store.
I mean,
numbers.
If I'm paying 900 rupees a square feet, fabulous is the lowest that I would assume.
Yeah, numbers are good. See, Powai is a hyper local area which is one of the best in the country. So the thing is, over a certain threshold, when revenue share kicks in, so rent becomes irrelevant. So whenever I'm talking to a channel partner, I'm saying rent is irrelevant. Show us the best location. So when your brand starts doing a certain number, and when rent becomes irrelevant, it becomes very easy to take that call. So you're not compromising on a location which is 25% cheaper. I say please show the most expensive real estate in the country. Because if you do a certain revenue, then rent becomes irrelevant. It's only a rev share.
So are you saying it's category creation by people discovering Burma, coming in, getting educated on Burmese food, eating one or two things that they know, probably a khao soi is known, and then discovering a few more. And so there is no outright marketing that you do to promote Burmese cuisine.
No, definitely. Like I told you, 50% of our marketing budget goes in brand building.
How do you do that? Give me a few examples of how do you spend that money?
So what we do is we do events. we do the right events,
Like,
little flea market in Bombay. We do a couple of events. The design week, India Design Week in
like
Delhi.
a pop-up?
Yeah, we do pop-ups to spread the word in the right circles, and then our social media play, and as we speak, Thingyang Festival, which is the Burmese New Year, is going on at all our restaurants from 1st of May to 31st of May. So the scale has only increased. So that gives every so many people reason to come back. It's like you've been to Burma Burma, you've not been there for a year. Okay, the New Year festival happening, let's go visit. So we've got about 10-15 dishes that as especially part of the Burmese New Year. So the entire media activation is done by a marketing team. And then brand building, Burma Burma over the years is the events that we do, the kind of messaging that we that is an entire ecosystem that works beautifully. Like pre-2020, we did not have a marketing team. But now that we built up very strong backend, very strong marketing team, so 50% goes in brand marketing, 50% goes in brand awareness, which is through Swiggy, Zomato, Google
and
Ads.
who's your demographic TG? Like, define that. What's the major?
So as the end consumer, anywhere from a 4-year-old to an 84-year-old eat it. But if you look at the highest spending power, it's families, and 25 to 50 is the main decision maker. And then, of course, the other age group to sort of tag along.
25 to 50 is still a large range,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And I'm asking in context of marketing. So, who are you marketing to more narrower? Is there a narrow band or
no? It's more inclusive. It's not like if you were to put in the category, we are not a Gen Z brand. We are not a nostalgic brand. We are not catering to only vegetarians. If you look at it, it's not possible to run based on one category of people. So we are more inclusive.
you happen to be vegetarian. You're not catering to vegetarian.
So we are more
I get
inclusive, and it's a wider audience that we are catering to. So that's why we focus on brand awareness rather than just narrowing down on one segment of people and banking on them. No, it's more inclusive. It's a wider category that frequent Burma Burma.
Chirag, how do you invest in yourself? How do you better yourself?
How do I upskill myself? So
Upskill or how do you invest in yourself?
So I feel firstly, everything happens in your head first. You have to think in your head, okay, this is what I want to do. How do you do it? You read about it. Like, for example, a lot of people ask me, who is it that you look, aspire to become in India? So I'm like, there is no casual dining player that has 100 restaurants. But if I look across the globe, if you look at Wagamama, they've got about 180 in just the UK. UK is not a very big country area-wise. And they've got about 75, 80 international market. If you look at Heidi Lau. So Wagamama's is one brand. They have all the money in the world. Why didn't they have a bouquet of 10 brands? If you look at Heidi Lau, Hot Pot, one of my favorites, they've got about 1350, 1400 just in China, another 100, 150 in about 22 countries across the globe. So when I look at these case studies, so it is just vision. It is just the mindset and execution. So firstly, you have to sort of execute in your head. I'll give you a small example. It is so I get very restless. I get anxious. I say, but a positive version. That this is what has to be done. For example, when we raised the third round, we were in a 2,800 square feet office. It was packed. So that's when I went to the drawing board and I thought that, this is not going to sustain. So, I went out to the market, looked at 100 offices, got a 8,000 square feet office with a capacity of 150, we had 60 people. And that time our revenue was 8 crores. To get an office worth 22 lakh rupees, that is a big debt. But I realized that, rather than sort of, I said, let's build infrastructure 6 months prior to that. So that now today, what happens once you move to a bigger office, you can get better talent. Now, everybody feels that how would we survive before this? So the thing is, I look at examples across the world or India in different categories, not in the food space, but other, how do they execute? I feel execution is everything. having a good idea is important, but execution is the key. I observe other entrepreneurs, their journeys, and see very selective podcasts, and I travel, and I like to observe how things are being done in the world, right? After talking to maybe say 200 to 50 investors, I understand what they're looking for. Then you get a lot of insights, and then you start building on that. That's, I always feel, uh, right now we are building towards a bigger goal. So for that goal to execute, that started maybe 2 years ago, that this is what we want to get there. What do we need? We need to build these things. So it is a very slow process. I'm somebody who likes to plan. Ever since I was a kid, I used to like playing on the computer. I used to like building. There was a game called Pharaoh. You build Egyptian cities. Then there was, I'll tell you, Roller Coaster Tycoon. You're building a theme park right from scratch. So I love building
I used to
infrastructure.
play SimCity
Yeah, similar,
or
similar.
Age of Empires.
Yeah, similar. So I love building things. I love putting small pieces together and then just sort of enjoying all the chaos. So that's, I'm constantly working on myself, and on an average, I feel it is the moment you start counting hours, it's like kaam karke ginana is not fun. I enjoy what I'm doing. I wouldn't do anything else. And the whole thing is, I'm not my I would say the macro goal is to make a lot of money, because that is, money affects everything that is important. More than that is to build a legacy of doing not one, not two, but at least a dozen things that nobody else in the country has been able to think, forget, execute. So that is what gives me that kick. And I surround myself with a lot of talented people. So from my, I always feel, whatever skills I don't have, either I sort of hire that missing skills or get consultancy for those missing skills. So I like to spend time. That's when the opportunity came to come and talk to you. I'm like, in a country that is obsessed with price sensitive software, you are the most expensive person. So I'll get to learn a thing or two from you. So that's my general goal, is to spend time with smart people and then learn one thing along the way.
चलिए, मेरे को और कुछ मिला हो ना हो, प्राइस बढ़ाने से इंटेलिजेंस का लेबल जो मिला है, I'll keep it. No, but I hear you. I understand. I think that's my hack as well. I think surrounding yourself with smart people and hanging out with them is a life hack.
Absolutely.
I mean, so many things get taken care of. But on the talent side, right? And I'm going to call back on, what you said about irrelevance of money in the short term, and how it affects and impacts, the calls that you take, and then how you like to plan, especially ahead of time, and then about breaking rules. Now, these three, no matter how cool and sexy they sound, fact is that hiring talent to match that vision, that velocity, and that care becomes difficult. It's not impossible.
Sure.
Becomes really difficult. And I think one thing that in context of India, that I think almost every kind of business is struggling today, some more, some less, is that people available in the market have never seen the scale of an ambitious entrepreneur. So it also becomes, it's not like that their IQ is low or high. Problem is they also don't know what they don't know. They have never seen, like for example, अगर आज आप 1000 स्टोर की चेन है जो 5000 जाना चाहती है ही नहीं कोई.
Does not exist. Correct.
Right? 5000 एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करता. 2000 barely टच करा है अभी शायद जुबिलेंट ने. So and
चाइना में एग्जिस्ट करता है.
करेक्ट. यूएस में आई कैन टेल यू, मैं आपको छोटा किस्सा बताता हूँ. मैं अपने एक कॉलीग के साथ था, एंड देयर इज दिस वाइट midwestern gentleman who's running a subs chain, like a Subway competitor, local, So why? And he met us, and we were at a conference, and he kept on asking questions, very humble. And then I asked him, I said, John, sorry, I'm not aware of your brand, and given that it doesn't exist in New York and San Francisco, how many stores do you guys have? So we had quite a few, but we're small. I said, okay. And then again, conversation started, and then I insisted again. I said, no, but I mean, just for my understanding, how many? He said, about 900. Now, I smiled. This guy kept on talking, and as I said, very humble conversation. He went on. So my colleague was mind blown. This was his first time in US. So he was like कि जैसे उसने भगवान देख लिया और उसने बोला कि 900 स्टोर वाओ एक तो वी आर सैलिवेटिंग दूसरा ही सेड कितना हम्बल आदमी था तो मैंने बोला देख थोड़ा ये वाला ठीक करेंगे ऐसा लेट मी टेल यू समथिंग ये हम्बल नहीं था ये ऐसे ही है he said what do you mean I said देख not taking anything away from he being nice I said fact is ये इसका कंपेटिटर कौन है सबवे सबवे के कितने स्टोर है मालूम वर्ल्ड में
more than
40,000 I said सिर्फ यूएस में कितने 18,000 I said जब तेरे मार्केट में तेरे कंपेटिटर के 40,000 स्टोर होते हैं और तेरे अपने कंट्री में 18 होते हैं ना तो 900 को स्मॉल ही बोलते हैं ह्यूमिलिटी इसका चॉइस नहीं था प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हमारे अंडरस्टैंडिंग से ये बहुत ऊपर है करेक्ट इसकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग से बेचारा बहुत नीचे चल रहा है तो तू भी सही सोच रहा है ये भी सही सोच रहा है बट दैट इज द लेवल दैट जस्ट मार्केट गिफ्ट्स यू एंड दैट्स व्हाई अ लॉट ऑफ अमेरिकन एंटरप्रेन्योर्स आई फील इवन एट लाइक सम humongous scale they're very very humble because that market humbles you but back to my question how are you feeling how do you feel about that I think filling the talent gap chhodiye how do you feel about the talent gap and what do you do about it
very difficult sometimes we interview at least 100 candidates to fill one spot so it is there is no hack it is you just have to anticipate positions before you need it certain positions I feel certain senior positions it takes about 6 to 9 months to fill even if you hire somebody the first quarter is honeymoon period and sometimes I've hired people with no job description just a general direction we'll work towards this and then we build along the way and then 1 year later that person has 3 people working under them so there are certain hunches you work
and how many failures over there
so it is a constant learning if something does not work out I'm very upfront about it and then say let's part ways that things are not working out so I'm very upfront about it and the sooner you realize it's better but I would say hit rate
are you already averse of hiring from big brands with big names
so I always feel that that is only like the previous experiences counts for something but interview is main and I ask so many questions so many times I ask about the family tree, where they've been, how many interviews they've done, what motivates them. There is if a person is single, the motivating factors are different. If some person is married with 2 kids, the motivating factors are different. If the spouse is working, it's different. The location, home to office location is different. And the past, if they've changed companies every year, you understand the mindset. So, these are the questions that I ask. I interview very few people, very senior positions, but I like to keep a tab. Sometimes, I spend time with HODs. They also have to be guided on, okay, now maybe it's a time you should increase your team. They are going to work, but they need that sort of nudge or support. So I feel talent is very scarce. The most difficult part about scaling up is finding the right talent. Money is available. Real estate can be managed with, but there is constant fight to get the right talent.
What about at the bottom where people are plenty, but attrition is crazy? Yes. How do you...
This industry has one of the highest attrition. So that is looking after the people, constant training and, always having that pipeline and also giving them the clear growth trajectory. Why do people leave? One of the reasons is there is certain times there is no clarity in the road ahead. That the clear career growth path.
But sometimes people, and I've seen, especially in the, I mean, I don't know, restaurant staff को कुछ को blue collar में रखा जा सकता है, कुछ को partial उसमें. Sometimes I've seen people attrition happening because they're not even looking for a path, or they don't even believe.
Multiple
So
reasons.
what's your attrition like, and what's
I would say not high, but this
Still-
is what we have to deal
industry
with.
has its own.
Yes, so we constantly try to look after our team, but there is a pipeline of adding new team members as well. So this is an accepted challenge of the industry. So it is never that you can in 1 year you can open 50 restaurants. But you will have to do that at the cost of service. And with so many restaurants coming up, so you are competing with so many people, so many other restaurants for the same talent. And like you said, initially there were people coming in. They are like, there is no non-veg. There is a very new cuisine. If I learn this, what will be my career path in the future? And to match salaries that other bars or other restaurants backed by big conglomerates, it's not easy. But now we've reached that scale. It has become comparatively we can afford to pay our team members better because of the scale. But it is one of the toughest challenges, and I feel no company has been able to crack that. Okay, our attrition is less than 1%. Whoever joins us does not leave. This challenge is only going to. It is, I feel, for the next 3 to 5 years, this challenge is here to stay. But we can work towards minimizing the impact and finding ways to counter it with better planning, better training, looking after our teams better. So we can constantly reduce the attrition at a junior level, mid level, and high level as well.
That will be my last question, Chirag. You started in 2014.
Yes.
More accidental than with a long plan.
Yeah.
But in 2026, as you see not only this market opening up for you, but a lot of others, what will you tell a new age restaurateur today who's planning to enter this industry? Are you optimistic, pro, or where are the areas where you will caution? What will be your message to them?
Two-part. If you're doing it out of a hobby, out of a passion, and half-hearted way, then the end result will be 50-50. There's no. If you really want to do it, build a strong product, strong backstory, and product has to be the hero. You cannot depend on little bit of this, little bit of that. If I were to give you a cricketing analogy, all rounders don't work. You need specialists. You need very good food, or you need to do something that hasn't been done before. Like for example, sandos. I'm saying ghee soaked bene dosa.
Sandos, you mean the
Sandwiches. I mean that's a new category. Beverage category is new. So if you do it in a very holistic way. Don't do little bit of this, little bit of that. I feel focus on one category, and sort of dissect it, have the right branding, have a right backstory, and do it the proper way. And I am not a big. I don't understand the dark kitchen model. It's very difficult to make profit. I would say do a customer-facing store. If test it out in a smaller format, then eventually scale up. But it is very important that it has to be a customer-facing store. That is my advice to entrepreneurs. And I feel beverage is such an exciting category. If you look at all the Asian countries or even the Western countries, and if you look at the beverage brands that exist in our country, there is still a long way to go. We are obsessed with coffee, but be it bubble teas, be it now, very recently I read about a cafe which has everything matcha. So that's a new thing. That is step towards a new category. So there is so much scope there. So I feel this industry is only going to grow, but the execution is very critical. It is not something that you do little bit of this. Like for example, if you look around, there are so many offshoots of Rameshwar Cafe. Everybody doing bene dosa. So if they do 8-10 SKUs, the defensibility is low. Over a period of time, that is going to fade out. You need to build a story around it. You need some unique aspect about the brand. You can't just copy whatever. It might sustain for 1, 2, 3 years, but in the long run. And another aspect, just comparing to Burma Burma, we have a research lab 1,000 square feet, zero revenue. We spend about 4 lakhs a month just on R&D. There is a team that just does R&D 12 months a year, zero revenue. So, like I said, even if somebody copies us, they cannot copy our innovation.
कैसे करते हो R&D? क्या है R&D का mechanism?
So, team travels to Burma, spends time there, understands regional cuisines, comes back to the country, and they're constant trying new dishes, developing a new category like Ting Yang is about rice bowls in small plates, and we have sandos and drinks. So all this was hard work of the entire team for about last 6 months. So when I said if somebody, just to give now coming back to if somebody copies a bere dosa, innovate and add a few more things. So innovation is the key. Having depth to the brand, and by launching, if there is instant success, don't worry. You have to constantly innovate. Could be difference of 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years. But if you don't innovate, people will get bored. You need to give the consumers more reason to keep coming back. That's what we've done. 2018 we started making our own desserts. 2000 post COVID we launched small plates. Very recently we added a few more categories. We enhanced our beverage program. So these are our endeavors to keep increasing the offerings and giving the consumer more reasons. Imagine if we did not innovate on a menu from 2014. It takes 1 second for the consumer to think, okay, been there, done that, what else is new? Nothing. Let's move on to the new Vietnamese restaurant. Let's try the new Sandoz place. Let's try something else. But every time you come to Burma Burma, you'll be surprised, okay, they're doing this also. This is exciting. So R&D is the key for new players. And building a holistic concept is fairly important.
So, if you're opening a restaurant or thinking about a restaurant in 2026, that one viral trend or one viral reel is not going to be enough if you want to
for the short
stay
run.
on.
For the short run, definitely. But if you want to sustain for the next 5 years, start with that and then slowly find your mojo or find something that you can defend against 50, 100 other players.
Chirag, this was a fabulous conversation. I think there is a lot to learn, but I think there's a lot for people to even discover, what you guys are up to. And I think some of the things that you said, like every other business gospel, sounds logical, sounds simple, but I'm 101% sure it's extremely difficult to put in, actual action. So thank you for talking about it openly. Thank you for being extremely transparent on all your tips and tricks and secrets. But I think my view of Burma Burma, and I'm sure anybody and everybody who will watch this, it will change forever. Now I am also looking forward to the day when we find a Burma Burma at every 5 kilometers. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.